realize all the answers to the whys and what I thought I wanted all along. When they are left and you appeared, an unexpected souvenir, the very best that I could hope to have. I love you 3,000, I love you the most. I'll always be with you wherever you go. And if you should stumble, I want you to know that this heart of mine will always hold you close. Oh, I love you 3,000. Never thought this began. Part of the journey is the end. But here we are, whatever it takes. Oh, if I could do it all again, it's you I would keep, the rest it would bend. Of everything I made, the most wonderful is you. Oh, I love you 3,000. I love you the most. I'll always be with you wherever you go. And if you should stumble, I want you to know that this heart of mine will always hold you close. Oh, I love you 3,000. And if I should go away, then you should know my favorite part was you. There's nothing left I could say to let you know how much I love you. I love you. Girl, I wrote you this song for social isolation, 'cause I don't know how long we're gonna be together. Girl, pass the dressing, it's a blessing to be quarantined with you. You know that there's nothing that I'd rather do. True that I'm macking, and the cracking on my hands is for you. Sanitizer rub down like we do, but we can play in sunshine, unlimited screen time. I can drive you out of your mind if you want me to. I promise you we can just eat cake, fight about nothing each day. I know that it's all gonna be okay. I wanna social distance with you, girl. Hands I'll be washing as I'm watching all your roots, they're growing out. Don't worry, baby, that's what I'm about. Wipe down the counter, this encounter. No one knows for how long, but we've got enough cheese to keep us going strong. And do you know all the places I went to find TP for you, girl? And when I cough in a house, you know I cover my mouth, cause that's what your man should do. Sunshine, unlimited screen time. I can drive you out of your mind if you want me to. I promise you we can just eat cake, fight about nothing each day. I know that it's all gonna be okay. I wanna social distance with you, girl. Hey girl, I wanna tell you that I miss you. I mean, I know you're just in the other room, but it feels like you're miles away. And I'm sorry if I said something to make you mad, like your favorite joke that usually makes you roll, but this time was inexplicable in your reaction, and you said you had a weird feeling about me or remind you of a sad video you saw online. Come back to me and we can play in sunshine, unlimited screen time. I can drive you out of your mind if you want me to. I promise you we can just eat cake, fight about nothing each day. I know that it's all gonna be okay. I wanna social distance with you. Oh, we can play in sunshine, unlimited screen time. I can drive you out of your mind if you want me to. I promise you we can just eat cake, fight about nothing each day. I know that it's all gonna be okay. I wanna social distance with you, girl. Stay 6 feet back, girl, but keep your heart close.
Right, this is from Manchester, checking in, via quarantine, everything going on in the fucking world right now, and this is from my mates and I'm meeting at a pub, you know what I mean? This is called Wonderwall.
Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realized what you gotta lose. Well, I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. Backbeat, the word is on the street that the fire in your heart is out. I'm sure you heard it all before, but you never really had a town. Well, I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads that lead you there are winding, and all the lights that lead you there are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. Say maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonder.
I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. You now, you now. And all the lies that lead you there are winding, and all the roads that lead the way are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. I don't know how. I said maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my one-to-one. I said maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me, and after all, you're my one-to-one.
Sunny days when I was chasing those clouds away. I smell the air every single time I turn the page. It's what you do after saving all of outer space. You take a breath, grab your suit, let the music play, and everybody's singing. I wanna go to an X-Men pool party. I wanna feel good under the sun. I wanna hang out with Alex Summers and Scott Summers every summer. Night comes, storm cleans up the sky. Grab a hoodie for the beach. Jubilees making lights for 4th of July. Reading late in my bedroom. I wished we could be friends. Waiting for my powers to arrive, and I still am. I still am. Cause everybody's singing. I wanna go to an X-Men pool party. I wanna feel good under the sun. I wanna hang out with Alex Summers and Scott Summers in the summer. Pop a beer with Wolverine, beat Gambit on the court for a quick one-on-one. I wanna go to an X-Men pool party. I can't imagine nothing fun. One time for the things they taught us. 2 times for the heroes we've lost. 3 times that they helped when no one could. Summertime in my parents' basement, Graymalkin Lane, the place I was hanging. Growing up different, nobody says you should, but they showed me I could. Bedroom, I wished we could be friends. Waiting for my powers to arrive, and I still am. I wanna go to an X-Men pool party. I wanna feel good under the sun. I wanna hang out with Alex Summers and Scott Summers in the summer. Pop a beer with Wolverine, beat Gambit on the court for a quick one-on-one. I wanna go to an X-Men pool party. I can't imagine nothing is fun. I wanna go to an X-Men pool party. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And everybody singing, ooh, oh, hey, what's up? How you guys doing? Welcome to episode 7 of the Quarantinecast. My name is Kyle Stevens, a.k.a. Kirby Krackle. I wouldn't John Cusack you guys like that. How are you doing? Welcome, episode 7. We are here to play British music, and we're also here to interview a good friend of mine, a newer friend of mine in the past 5 years or so, Mr. Joe Carella, director of the X-Men Pool Party video, as well as the Quaransheen video that I just put out. So we're going to have him on to talk about that. Last week, of course, we watched the Triple Door show, and that was fun to talk through that with you guys and go through all of that. I really like the feedback that we got on that, so thank you very much. It was a pleasure to do that show, and feels like 10 years ago. But we're here now, week 10 of quarantine, which is why we're doing this Quarantinecast webcast. Lots of quarans going on. How are you? Let me know how you're doing in the comments. I'm going to bring you on and share with your fellow Crackleheads how you're doing. Just fed my little girl dinner, doing this, and we're making it happen. So, settling in here as one does on episode 7. Excited to talk to Joe. He put together some wonderful behind-the-scenes footage of the Quaransheen video. So I'm really excited to share that with you and get all techie and nerdy on it. And of course, you just watched X-Men Pool Party. That was filmed, I think, 3 years ago in Hawaii at my parents' house. That was the douchiest tweet I ever put out. Headed to Hawaii to film a music video before I stop in Australia for a tour. When do you ever get to write that? Hardly ever. So I did, but it wasn't lost on me that was ridiculous. Let's see. Benjamin says, I wouldn't trust beer brought to me at super speed. I've read what happens to wine brought by the Flash. You know, I think it was I think JD enjoyed a good amount of those, as he should. He was working hard that day. Tom, you're a handsome beast, Tom. Good to see you, man. Glad you're here. Yes, if we're referring to this, okay, this is a mess. Okay, let's talk about it. Quaransheen is about letting your degenerative emotional and physical state out during this quarantine experience. This is what happens when you just don't put anything in your hair and you just get out of the shower. This is about the longest my hair's been since I was, I'd say, 21, which was 50 years ago. So, anyways, please send me pictures of your quarantine fro, hashtag quaranfro, hashtag Quaransheen, and I'd love to share that with your fellow Crackleheads here if that's something that you're interested in. Okay, let's talk about it. How are you guys? I am doing okay today. This gives me a little purpose today. Last week was a little rough. Last week I feel like it was a new level of kind of heavy hit for a lot of people last week, myself included. But then we got through what the calendar says is the weekend, and we are persevering. Stuff is starting to open up in states everywhere. Washington State still in phase 1. If you're in phase 1, that means nothing really changed except there is a chance to go out to restaurants, possibly in phase 2. I don't know if that's something I'm going to be doing. I have, no lie, made every single meal in my house for 2.5 months. What? That's ridiculous. And why stop now? You know what I mean? Not like I want to, but really it's more like keeping a record at this point. And we're rotating between lots of stuff. It's called food truck chic. You just put a bunch of random shit together, and most of the time it comes out okay. And it's a way to be creative for me when I'm not having so much time to record these days, being full-time daddy daycare. So full-time daddy daycare means that we are learning to ride a bike right now. That's true. We're learning how to ride a bike. Not me. I learned last month. But we're learning about counterbalance when you're on a driveway. We're learning about looking left, look right. Then you look left, then you look right again. We're learning about not running over dog shit. That's something we had to learn a couple times because it's like stomping through puddles, right? The same amount of fun, less on my end, but I get it. And so there is a lot of talk going on lately in the music and entertainment industry about events, right?
So I am in the business of events, obviously with Kirby Krackle. Also, I don't know if many of you know, but I own a wedding DJ company, a wedding entertainment company, and I do DJing for weddings and corporate events. So that's something that's been new in like the past 2 or 3 years. So with that, as you can imagine, that falls in the category of uh, nothing happening, obviously, right now. And then obviously that's going to be a lot different going forward. So my experience over the past 2 months, uh, along with Kirby Krackle clients, is shows that were coming up were moved to summer, and then shows that were in the summer now are being moved to fall or 2021. And there's a good chance that those events are probably going to be moved all to 2021. So it's just like this weird, trippy time where, for people in bands and private event companies, like there's no such thing as cancellation fees anymore. I'm sorry, rescheduling fees. There's no such thing as a certain timeline that you have to reschedule in. It's just obviously the great unknown, right? So a lot of what I do day to day now is musical chairs, figuring out when clients need to move events and trying to navigate that space. So I think this might be a summer where I'll actually have a summer. We'll be able to have a summer, so we're trying to figure out what that is. But turning our backyard into wild ways, maybe. I don't know. What do we have to lose? So Dave Grohl put out a big article in The Atlantic that was pretty good a couple of weeks ago, talking about why we need concerts, why we need to gather, and why it's a primal thing. And I think the same thing goes for weddings. And I think those will be the last thing to happen. Obviously, if you're following what's happening, you'll probably come to the same conclusion. With that, also, what do those things look like? Do we still do a wedding ceremony where everyone's gathered together in one room, or do we do modular events where, say, people will arrive in smaller groups for the ceremony and for the dinner? Maybe dinner is more prepackaged situation, and then the people who would leave normally kind of at the beginning of the dancing part of the evening, like the older aunts and grandparents and uncles and extended family from out of town or kind of wiped out from traveling, etc. Those people would then leave, and then the people who want to come dance would come in. So it's just like this weird, great unknown that trying to stay sane with and work through as best as I can. So thank you to my friends for letting me throw ideas off them of how they would respond if they were clients. Thank you to my dad for helping me with my contract. He watches this at night every night, and I'm going to tell him, he doesn't have a lack of stuff going on now too, but you got to drop everything and help me with the contract, because if I go to jail, who's going to make you food every night you stay here? You know what I'm talking about, Rick. So thank you for your help with that. With that, yes, we have Joe Carella here. I was watching a Comedy Central roast the other night, like a good old fashioned Comedy Central roast, and I wanted to throw out the opportunity to roast me right now, because my wife was laughing at the fro, and I would like to hear what you think it sounds like. I played the Oasis song earlier, so you couldn't say Oasis. That's low-hanging fruit. That's Britpop. That's obvious. I take that away from you, and I demand more. So I got one. It kind of looks like how a stubbed toe feels, I think, or the sound an empty ranch bottle makes when it's all done, just like disappointment and whatever little bits of air and sauce are still in there. And there's nothing too mean. Maybe there's something too mean. I don't know. We'll see if I start crying. But please make me laugh at myself. As we know, rock people really care about their hair, unless you're in quarantine and you don't give a shit. So let's take to the comments here. Vault 101 rocks so hard. Thank you very much. I love that song. Did you know that song was a second song written for E for Everyone record? First one was Going Home. It's a little bit of trivia there. Tom, this is the highlight of my day. I had a rough day at work. I'm glad we get to relax together. Me too, man. And thank you very much. And I welcome your video. I know we were talking about. Let me get a video. Let me know how that's going for you. Jerry, he says, we need a Kirby Krackle song about the Snyder Cut of Justice League on HBO Max 2021. Would it be whatever my Justice League song would be, but maybe in a minor key, or maybe like a little less dark in the color schematic? I don't know. Christine says, I miss live music so much. Christine, I miss you. I love Christine's Facebook post. Basically, she says every day, if you're not wearing a mask, this is the medical thing that's going to happen to you when they have to insert a tracheal tube in you. And it's like, holy shit, every time I see that. So I'm always wearing my mask every time anyways. I hope you are too. Benjamin says, I'd really like to see you do a reimagining video for Going Home when the con ban ends and we can begin doing conventions. Yes, I agree, sir. Maybe also we need a quarantine video of when I go to the grocery store and then I'm going home. Only like remixed words. Mary Amber, the mighty Mary Amber from Australia. Hello, my dear. I hope you are well. Christine says I need a flannel shirt and ripped jeans. I look like the back seat of Rick Springfield's Trans Am. I don't know. Oh, haha. Ruben got me. Finally, the drapes matched the carpet. You're a bad boy. That's a bad boy. Get out of here. Get that comment out of here. I hear him laughing at home now. Benjamin Kyle's one kitchen accent away from being Harry Potter. Oh, yes. I have a broom. I just ride up and down the stairs. All right. We're going to start a new segment today. If you just tuned in, thank you so much for watching. This is called The Best of the Internet. And you know what that probably means is the worst of the internet. Now, nothing is happening since I saw you guys last week, except got really grumpy last week. But this was pretty good. This is just a good reminder, a PSA that we need, and I think we need it from someone on the internet like this. Don't believe everything you read on the internet about COVID-19. And I was so glad that was brought to us by Bob Dylan, who, as you know, is the drummer for Metallica. You know, it's voices like that I think we need to trust right now. Always good to hear from Mr. Dylan, and I hope Metallica can tour soon. You know, there is a lot of Instagram accounts. There are a lot of Instagram accounts where people will mix fantasy with kind of a little bit of pseudo-reality. If you've seen the real-life Bert and Ernie or the real-life Beavis and Butthead, that it's the uncanny valley. It's just like a little too much. This falls in that category for me. This is Mario done by @Beetle_crap, which I think Beeple_crap. It's, you know, a scale, a realistic scale of what Mario would look like, and it's horrifying to me for some reason. Yeah, he doesn't look like in a good place. That doesn't look great. Thinking of him, thinking of his family. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about stupid stuff on the internet. And this is something that I did last week. And on Snapchat, you know, you can put different filters on you, and I like to do different characters if you follow my Snapchat at all. This is what I did last week. Let's check it out. Here we go.
It's so hard to say goodbye to Frito-Lays. I ran out. And I'll take with me the memories.
Okay, so that is It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday by Boyz II Men. And I just did that because I thought it was funny. What happened? Boyz II Men retweeted me. That's so dumb. They're like, yo, this guy looks like John B. singing about Frito-Lays. Okay, I don't know what the hell we'll just do. Well, this is going to make this guy's week. He can talk about it. And that was ridiculous. And then the week before, I forgot to mention that Positive K retweeted me too. It was like, what your man got to do with me? I got a man. I'm not trying to hit, I got a man. That happened too. So can I go 3 for 3 this week? Jeanne, hey DJ, keep playing that song. Are they still together? I don't know. I might start an account for them if they're not. All right. And lastly, this was sent to me by my friend Manzel. As I've mentioned, I was looking for a mask that represented me, okay, and my personal values. And he sent me this, a leather rivet half-face punk cosplay mask with zipper mouth, men and women personality, simple fashion mask for cosplay. Only $10.99. Okay, that looks like some Pulp Fiction stuff, all right? So that's not the best part about this. The best part about this is the review. It says, great gift. This was a gift from my grandson, and he loves it. He uses it in his role-playing with plastic swords with younger brother. Yeah. All right. I don't think that is what she thinks it is. That's okay. That's how we find out. Hey, all right. A couple more questions here. A superhero song about wearing a mask. That's a good idea. Maybe a superhero that wears the mask but leaves the nose open. Like I saw a lot of that at the grocery store today. And I just had to pause and I had to look and fully understand what there was no understanding. Bruce says, I look like I can. He looks like he can break bricks. I think he was talking about Mario, not me. And Aaron, you're so famous that we know you. You're famous and I know you. Boys and Men doesn't care about me, but they would definitely love to know you. And if you are looking to sell more merch, Aaron, like you helped me so graciously with, I will let Boys and Men know. As in, they won't listen to me either, but I'll try. Hey, we are going to talk to Mr. Joe Carella here. Let us right now show the video one more time for Quaransheen so we know what we're talking about. We're on the same page. We're refreshed. Mr. Joe Carella right after this. This is Quaransheen.
Get up at 6, pour me some kicks, maybe some tricks, and then a cup of tea, brushing my teeth, out on the street, baby not me. I'm stuck in quarantine, suck it up man, you could swallow your pride. Your only job now is to stay inside. Playing guitar, not going far, eat candy bars. What am I doing here, watching TV, watching TV, watching TV. I see a pattern here, waving out the window to the passers-by. Don't know the day, but it ends with why.
Not a day goes by that I don't daydream about the world outside. Everywhere I'm gonna eat pizza again, third time this week. This week, this week. Not a day goes by that I don't daydream about high-fiving every single person that I see. Got a special kind of glow until they find a vaccine. Quaransheen.
Wearing my mask, don't wanna ask for you to step back. I'm talking 6 feet, taking a walk around the block. If you walk up, I'm crossing the street. Not that hard, no need for a dance. I'm out here trying to save your grams and your grams.
Fauci.
PB&J, every day, I made it okay. I'm making perfect now. Washing my hands, washing my hands, washing my hands. And yeah, they're cracking now. Not gonna leave when they open it up. No better test here, but I need a haircut. I need a haircut.
Not a day goes by that I don't daydream about the world outside. Everywhere I'm gonna eat pizza again, third time this week. This week, this week. Not a day goes by that I don't daydream about high-fiving every single person that I see. Got a special kind of glow until they find a vaccine. Quaransheen.
Mr. Joe Carella,
What up?
how you doing, man?
How's it going?
Welcome to the Quarantinecast. I have to pretend like I didn't talk to you 3 times already today. How have you been?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. You're the first person that I've interviewed that is wearing the new AirPod Pros. How do those work doing this?
They're great, but I have a pair of headphones on standby because I feel like they're just gonna die. So we'll see. We'll test this new battery life right now. So I'm skeptical, but I got a backup waiting right here.
Cool. Okay. Well, before I forget, I'll let you know one of the standouts from last week is I watched the new Tiger King final episode that they did, right? And where Joel McHale was interviewing every garbage person and trying to talk to them about the follow-up to the show, right? What life has been like for them. And you could tell Netflix sent all these people AirPods. They sent him what you have, and they sent everybody
Right.
else the long sticks. I don't know. I felt like I was cold blooded. I don't know why. I just
That's a
felt like
budget. It's a budget.
I know that was
Yeah.
cool. Hey man, how's Hawaii today?
It's everybody likes to jump through the FaceTime and punch me when I say this, but Hawaii has actually been pretty cold during this quarantine, so I guess it's kind of fitting. But it's Hawaii cold. Trust me, it's a little bit cooler today. You can sleep with a blanket if you like.
That's like when I get there and stay with my my parents or you're involved with my dad's company. I'm always like, oh my god, like I'm burning up, and they're like, oh my god, it's so cold. So, anyways, that's the Hawaii stereotype.
It's true. It's true.
Well, dude, thanks so much for joining me on this today. I know that this is a long time coming because we had the plan to release the video, to record the video, release the video, have you on the Quarantinecast, and I just think you put together something so cool, man. And again, I worked with you on X-Men Pool Party, which we showed earlier in the show, and I feel like every time you and I have worked together, it's been like, okay, what? Do it in 2 weeks? Okay, get it done. Okay, go. Like it's always been this thing where we've planned it. It's been just enough time, but never felt like a huge rush job for what we wanted to do. And it was just fun and not very laborious in terms of like the planning or the editing or anything. And I think you're like me, you're like, you want to do it and you want to get it done and you want to work quick. Is that how you like to work in general?
Yeah, I mean, like it really matters the content or the subject. I think music videos and music in general, it's easy to work fast and quickly and get motivated by it because it's music, and when you prepare, that's what you're going to shoot for that part. I mean, it's not going to change whether it's lyrically influenced or whatever it is. You know what's going to go there, and so it's I don't know. I think everybody loves music, and when you put out good music as you do, it's easy for people like myself to collaborate with artists because all the cool editing and stuff like that only goes so far without a performance with the artist. So it was a fun collaboration in the past, and with Quaransheen and X-Men Pool Party, and I'm happy to keep the train going. We got some fun BTS to share today as well.
I know, man. You've been working your ass off all week on that. Joe and I've been go back and forth. He's like, it's coming together, and I'm like, dude, I don't even know how to do this, so I'm not rushing anybody on anything. It's like it'll be ready when it's ready, and it's great what you did, man. I mean, you're super talented, and I think that, and I love that you wanted to put this together for people, because one of the things that we always talked about, even before we started filming, is how different this was gonna be than anything I had done before. And anything you'd done before, really, right? In terms of like filming remotely and editing from footage shot in a location that you're not there to approve it, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is my first pandemic, so I got to, yeah, me too, right? Yeah, so sick. So the adjustment period was always the key thing there, but it's funny, you texted me like, because we talked a couple of days earlier when you were like writing the song, you're like, yeah, I'm getting weird with this is fun, like you were upbeat, you were having a good time with it, and I was telling you how busy I was trying to, this time has been precious to me, where it was like, there's unfortunate circumstances and things have been crazy, but trying to make the best of it in the sense of like, all right, I was given time to catch up on some things now, and so what is that? And I know you and I talked, and you were like, I know you're super busy, but I really want to do a video for this. And I think that the thought pattern was like, okay, like, this is cool because this is like kind of a new challenge with FaceTime. We're going to have to do this, remotely, and I'm not going to have choice of a camera. I'm not going to have choice of a cameraman. I'm not going to be able to physically go do it myself, which I'm very used to. And so I don't know, it was cool. And I felt like it was really important to document it as well, which is why we have all this great BTS footage. So we technically shot 2 videos remotely during quarantine, and we can explain when you see the BTS videos split up into 2 parts. You'll see we can kind of explain more on both sides of it, how we made the BTS, and you can see further on the actual music video.
Cool, man. Yeah, and we can talk about this more, but I was nervous, like I told you, to spend all day doing this, knowing that we had like a day or 2 to do it, and then make sure it was the shots that you wanted, and people will see in the video how we figured that out. And then also just like, I feel like watching music videos and being an MTV nerd in the early 90s, watching the same videos over and over again, in between Beavis and Butthead, just like burned in my head, like what it should not be. I don't know what it should be, what it should not be. So that was fun. I was like, okay, 2/3 rule, 2/3 rule. Okay, don't have one of those internet memes where there's a bunch of toilet paper in the toilet while your video's being shot.
I
You
feel
can't
like
cut that
that would
out. You can't
fly.
cut that out.
It would fly right now. It'd be totally okay though. I feel like it's there's rules are just off the table, and if you can capture the moment, it's good enough.
Well,
But it was
dude,
great. I mean, you did great.
thanks, man. And we're gonna show part one here. We got 2 little short behind the scenes videos, and a little bit about the Joe Carella origin story. You went to the X-Men School for Gifted Youngsters. I know this. We talked about this.
I think so. I don't remember. I think
in
so.
in New York, right? You're from New York.
Yes. I grew up in New York on Long Island. I don't know if you can't say it that way, but that's just how you say it. I mean, that's what everybody ends up
Long
saying.
Island. Long
Yeah.
Island.
There you go. Yeah.
I didn't know you're from Long Island.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
performed there twice.
Your hair sounds like Long. That's what.
Hey, that's no problem. Don't worry about it. It's no problem. Hey, you know what? One time, I'm not getting off track, but I'll never be able to tell this story again. One time, I played a show. It was scheduled ahead of time in Long Island, and I had the flu super bad in New York, and I lost my voice, right? And I went to the show, and I told the guy, and I said to the comic shop, I said, "Hey, man, I can't sing," you know. He's like, "Hey, no problem. Just lip sync along with your stuff and pretend like you're playing." And I'm like, "What? That's cool." He's like, "Yeah, you're here, won't you?" He's like, "I'll make them listen." And I'll never forget when I started playing, and it seemed like what my stereotype of Long Island is, right? This guy walked in front of the whole crew. He's like, "Hey, this guy came all the way from Seattle. He can't fucking sing. So he's gonna lip sync for you, and you better listen." And my mom left spaghetti right over here. Okay, have fun.
Do you remember the name of that place? Do you remember the name of it?
I think it was Sacco's, and he's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
he's in like the Kirby Krackle community in New York. He's awesome. He was like so nice, but it was just so funny. I was like, "Whoa, this is a different culture than Seattle, man! Like, I love this. I dig it."
That is for sure. Definitely a different culture. But yes, I did grow up in New York. And then around 21, 22-ish, I moved to Los Angeles.
Okay.
I toured over there with my buddy Frank's band, which you'll see. I did all the music videos. If you see on my Instagram, you'll find all their stuff.
Yeah.
And then I stayed out in LA, did the whole Hollywood scene for a little while, edited everywhere and anything all over the industry, movies, commercials, TVs, everything. And then met my wife, my lovely wife Krista, who's awesome. And it's a huge role. I mean, when I told her I was going to do the video, she, took over the baby responsibilities. So we have to give Krista a big thank you for allowing me to plow away at all of this. She was super helpful. But I met my lovely wife, and then we moved to Hawaii. We were like, let's go to Hawaii, and then we did it. It was stupid. It was crazy, but we did it. And then we met Rick at Island Film Group, and the rest is history. And then yada yada yada. You and I did X-Men Pool Party and Quaransheen. And so we just Seinfeld our way. Seinfeld time. We're on Seinfeld.
It's the beginning of our trilogy. We don't know what's next. We don't know what's next.
The third one, oof. I still feel comedy series. Like, we could have music integrated to it, but I just feel like, we need to head down. We'll look like, full spacesuits, like a surgeon's room, like ET style when we're shooting it, but it'll be worth it. It'll be cool.
Like, I'll yell at you over there. Like, here, throw me a little message, and I'll read it. I'll sanitize it. I'll throw it back to you.
Right.
And then we'll all copy each other's face. It'll be fine.
We'll do origami communication. You have your version. I have we have the decoder. We know.
It can only be easier than this was. Really, it can only be easier than this was. Hey, so, and I know that all the editing and all the work in the film industry that you've done and do now, it would be remiss of me to not bring up the Marvel work that you've done, right? Because you worked on some Marvel stuff.
Yes, I worked with a company who did all the behind the scenes work for major movies. Marvel movies are one of them, and yeah, I worked on like pretty much all the Blu-ray content you saw, or corporate sponsored promotional trailers with has like some BTS with the trailer mixed in there for social media. So I tried to find some for everybody, but you do it for like Frito-Lay, they promote it and then they take it down. So it's not, sometimes you see that. But if you go onto the Blu-ray of Ant-Man, Civil War, Guardians 2, The first Avengers. There was several of them. I would jump in and out of there as a freelancer and kind of help them out when they needed. But that was an amazing experience. You know, like that was a solid time in my career that I was really able to learn from dealing with, you know, high end expectations in your work with, you know, talking to higher ups, executive producers at Disney, you know, and being able to communicate with your post producer and figuring out what they want. And it was awesome. It was an awesome learning experience. I'm super grateful for my time there. And yeah, and so it was part of the evolution of wherever we're at right now. But some of the BTS instincts that you'll see in this video is definitely from doing it with, you know, some of the bigger movies out there. So it was a fun time there.
So you're saying you hit those Ant-Man Blu-ray beats in the BTS that we've done here, the behind the scenes.
You just you know, you get your rhythm going, and they give you, it's cool. Like for the first time, I mean, I edited indie movies and all this different stuff. I edited a Tennis Channel. I had some Tennis Channel days. Tarnal Brother movies. What up, Brent? But you know, the Marvel stuff was special in the sense of you know, I mean, you're working with things you're a fan of. It just completely changed, you know, the balance of work and play, and it got stressful to a point, but it was overall a good time.
Crazy, man. And then I'm sure like the secrecy that goes on with that stuff too. It's like, we will find you and hunt you down if you leak any of this stuff. Yeah,
my NDA stack is like this. I probably am like, they're like listening to me right now. They're probably like, all right, keep
you
talking.
Got microchipped.
Like, okay, you're good. You're clear. You didn't say nothing too revealing, but they scanned my eyeball as I entered the. No, but I mean, like, it really was a big responsibility. Like, I saw the first thing I do in order to make this stuff is you watch wherever they're at with the movie. And so, you know, I've seen plenty of movies with just visual effects all over the place, and it was a cool learning experience on that side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Not just editing and dealing with clients, but like how they make all this stuff and connecting it and being like, oh, you know, I'm not there yet, but you know, the budgets are crazy, or having to do it like, oh, that's a cool style. How can I make this possible for myself with what I'm doing type of situation. But
on the job, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like I said, I'm from New York. I could ramble on and on about this stuff, but overall, it was a huge learning experience for the good and the bad. I definitely had some bad days where you fall on your face and you set the bar too high and you don't hit it. But it's all good. They brought me back.
Well, you know, I always tell everybody that you're the one that did the scene of Spider-Man turning to dust, saying, "Not yet. I don't want to go. I don't want to go." So I blame you for that part in Infinity War.
Yeah, that, you know, they were just like, "Hey, BTS guy, what do you think of this script?" And I was like, you know, I would change one thing. I would just take it, like, get Tom Holland Spider-Man out of here. Yeah,
it's a little thing.
No,
the ripple effect. The ripple effect you've had is astounding. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, can we make it Miles Morales? No. All right. So I guess I don't know how I've missed this news, but did somebody say that the Zack Snyder cut is finally coming out?
Yeah, it's coming on HBO Max next year, which gives them time to put together what they think people want the Zack Snyder cut should be.
They're like, so they think there's a Zack Snyder cut, and they think it's going to be better. But it was funny, like I don't know, HBO Max. All right, well,
we'll get back to that halfway through.
See how much better that is.
Being a friend. Okay, so we're gonna do part one of Quaransheen here. The behind the scenes, the BTS. Aaron said, "Yo, I just figured out what BTS was. Is behind the scenes." Yeah, it took me like 2 weeks to figure out, Aaron. I was like, "What's BTS? Is that like that K-pop band?" That's what I thought every time you said it. Okay, here's part one. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna talk about it. Here we go.
We are live on set. This is Quaransheen take 1 or 2.
I gotta learn my words.
Kyle's working on learning his words.
Hey, what's up? This is Kyle, aka Nerd Rock Artist Kirby Krackle, talking about all the behind the scenes action, how we made the video via social distancing.
I'm trying to figure out how to make it look like I'm just not more tired as it goes on, but I think that's just what it is.
Well, how I almost sprained my foot, probably did, and all that other good stuff. You know, when I called director Joe Carella to throw out the idea of doing Quaransheen, I said, listen, I'm in a pandemic, you're in a pandemic, let's get nuts.
You don't need to fucking tumble down those steps, but...
Yeah.
One of the things that was so interesting in terms of how I've done things in the past was how innovative it was to film this video. I would call Joe on FaceTime and I'd say, hey, what do you think this looks like? Or what do you think about this?
So that looks good. Yeah, play it out. Ooh, maybe we can keep the red theme going.
And I think I'm gonna wear Kristen's yellow fuzzy sweater.
Yep, they'll compliment.
And he said, okay, just maybe move your lights here, or this is what I'm looking for.
Spend some time in this one and get closer to it, whatever you need to do, dip back and forth. I want to be able to see that in the wide, not just the close-up of the window.
Got it, okay.
And then go for it. And that was just kind of how we kept on pace for what I think like really turned out to be like an 8-hour shoot. All right, part one, Quarantine BTS, which means behind the scenes, a reminder.
Behind the scenes.
You know, one of the awesome folks watching, Tom said, he goes, good job using your DJ lighting for that video. And that's something that I forgot I wanted to talk about too, of how those worked so well, because they, you know, they're just battery powered. You could put them anywhere you wanted.
Yeah, that was part of our conversation. I mean, we did something in the past. We worked together in Seattle. We'll talk about that in the future a little bit. But yeah. So I kind of already knew what you had when we had a pre-pro meeting. So if I remember correctly, so we shot on a Saturday. I think Wednesday you called me to like kind of catch me up about anything, and then Thursday you sent me the video, the song. I listened to it like 20 times in a row, came up with something, and then Friday we had a pre-pro meeting about it, and we shared a iCloud note share. And we made a shot list. We talked about all this stuff, visions you had, visions I had when we felt the song. I think we kind of just, I mean, it all came together on the BTS side and the music video side because of our preparation that day. And so, yeah, note cloud and creating a checklist and a shot list and notes. And we came up with like, 7 different setups, I think there was in the video.
Yeah, there's all these beats within it. And that was so helpful that you did that. I wouldn't have thought, I know I would have forgot so much to shoot within each scene, but you're like, we need this, we need this, we need this. And I would go through, for people listening at home, I would go through and just like click done. And then you would see through iOS notes that it was done. So you knew what would be coming. Then like they saw in that video, I don't know if that was this or the next one where we framed the shots and I basically would let you see what we were doing on iPad via FaceTime.
Yeah, there's a little bit of in both, but were just the example just came up where yeah, I mean, you know, we were talking about the notes refreshing as you go. I mean, in between the takes that we would discuss it, we would FaceTime. You would show me the setup, you would show me the camera angle, you would show me the composition. We would make adjustments. We would move these magical lights that you said were battery powered and went wherever we needed. And we would sign off on it, and then you would go perform. You did 3-4 takes with regular light, we called it, and then we did every setup. We would have our dance party, we would call it, or whatever, where the strobes would go off, and we would have 2 different versions because we did discuss wanting to keep things fresh, and we would slowly introduce these setups, and they would live in certain spots, but we really wanted them to breathe. So I was in between everything. I would see it on my phone. I'd like, okay, you did this shot, and I knew you were finished with the setup. I would go back to my computer. You would call me. I would start seeing the files pop up on Dropbox, and we would just start this over and over and over. And I would start syncing, going through things. We had conversations about things throughout the day. So it was utilizing technology and cloud services and all that stuff definitely played a huge role in this being possible. I mean, in general, this whole quarantine situation 10 years ago would have been tricky. You know, it definitely proves how reliable all this stuff is, and using it for creative or more serious times.
So shout out to Dropbox and Mac iOS Notes. And for people watching at home, like this was just all shot on a Osmo Pocket, right? That's all it was. And so basically it would just plug into the phone, like boom, like that, and the phone would be my monitor. And then and then what was the other thing we used? What do you have there?
Hey, you finish out. I got the
Oh,
BTS
yeah.
one. I'll explain in a
Yeah,
second.
so we had this, and then I would just like hop on the iPad Mini with FaceTime, and I'd say, okay, here's what it looks like, and it's so weird. It was like infinite shots within shots, like a hall of mirrors, right? But it worked well, and you helped me dial this in because I didn't know what I was doing with the right settings and the ISO. So that's for people watching at home. That's what's like a $4.99 piece of equipment, and we did that with just that.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the settings and which I think is in the next video. I think the
Okay.
settings pop up, kind of explain everything. So yeah, the Osmo Pocket Mobile, and I sent you how to set it up and all the specs we needed. So that the idea was for me, since I'm, I just wanted to create things as easy as possible as you. So everything's on a tripod still, and then we had the the GoPro Max, this new one. It's a 360 camera, but what was cool about the 360 camera is that's how I was able to like create coverage and pan around. And it's just both of the cameras are just meant for you to set it and forget it kind of deal, so that you can focus on wardrobe and setting the lights up and not have to be a cameraman too much and just let it go there. And we have a nice frame composition that's flat and neutral and even light, and that I'm able to manipulate in post production. And so color correction and all that will pop up in this next video.
And if someone's looking into getting a GoPro, of the GoPros I've had in my life, like this one beat that. Like this one just beats them. I mean, like you said, we just set it up and it sees everything, and then you did your magic picking what needed to be done. I mean, I didn't even set up I just set up so I could tell it could just see everything, right? Like no certain focus on a movement or a lighting that we wanted, and you just zoomed in and all the BTS that you see is done from that.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, I have one on my end. Once I found out that you had it, I was like, perfect, we can sync this up together. And I just really wanted to make sure that there was how we did this element to it. And the Hero Max was huge in that, in allowing us to easily do that. Because I mean, you'll see in this next video, there's an end beat where you go down the steps. We show you tumbling down that steps. That magical edit where you go up and down, up and down. It's my favorite part.
I'm laughing,
but you'll see it pan around, like you'll see the thing follow you. And I created all that movement, but it's just or you could just turn the 360 mode on and look around as if you had VR goggles, but you can map it out in a regular shot, and so that's how we did it. So yeah, it was
crazy, man.
It was fun. It was cool.
I was laughing when you mentioned the stairs because I'm used to watching it in the fast version where I'm rolling up and rolling down, But I said, I remember I asked you, I said, do I need to like go down the stairs fast? You're like, no, just make it look like you have a lot of movement, but moving down the stairs. And so it's just like, it's ridiculous.
Like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Hey, I knew I was going to hear from somebody. Lita, Kyle, that bathroom scene was from your high school days, wasn't it? I don't really know. I didn't know what my hips look like when I'm trying to dance, but I think they look pretty good. I don't know.
It's funny.
It's
funny.
Something.
It's funny. I had a lot to work with. Let's just put it that way. I spent hours trying to figure out what is the best of the best.
Embarrassing. What are the most embarrassing moments for Kyle that was going to show?
They're off camera. The camera wasn't on for those moments. We didn't get it. We all have comedy gold with you all the time.
Yeah, I told Kristen, I said I had to double check that file again right before we did this to make sure it wasn't when I was crying, So.
No, I'm sorry. I almost put it in there. It was almost in there. It was almost the ankle sprain, but it was off camera. You're lucky it was off camera. If I had it, it would have been like this one is the first one was 2 minutes and 2.5 minutes, and the second one 3.5 minutes. It would have been like a 5-minute video because a minute and 30 seconds would have just been slow motion back and forward. You go like to the whole song. We would just release a whole new video, whole new video with just that one part.
Yeah, we should.
It wouldn't have been as good, but it would have been funny.
It would have been funny. That's for the archives. All right, part 2. Let's check it out.
Part 2.
We are here in my makeshift quarantine edit bay. Got the sheets up, pretty much made a fort 35 years old, making a fort. You see this side. This is the Joe Exotic dedication wall. So this is the Quarantine edit bay. We were up early this morning with Kirby Krackle. Oh, you should go on the roof tomorrow, right? Here we are. We're keeping it simple. Everything is meant to be within the reality of what we're doing here. It's shot with a Osmo Mobile Pocket. I sent him the specs of what we needed and what to do, and he's pretty aware of the framing.
We talked about, different acts having like the front door portion, having the stairs portion, having the living room portion where Katinka attacks me. And I asked her, I said, please attack me as hard as you can. And she said, is that okay? And I said, yeah. She goes, are you joking? I said, no, I want you to do it, but one time. In between dance portions, which is all day, I basically just would upload all the files to Dropbox, and he would start picking through stuff.
They're all coming in already. You got B-roll for me. So so it's syncing up.
And if there was something he liked or something he didn't like, he'd let me know.
Gonna get all the syncing done as quick as I can and start going through and pulling out all the best of the best and then just making decisions on what stays and what doesn't. I locked down a cut on Monday, color corrected and did visual effects the rest of the way. And that was it. We had our Quaransheen music video ready to stream by Friday.
Rolling gag, top of stairs. If I get paralyzed, this is what's gonna happen. Here we go. Oh wait, I'm in my garage. We released it last Friday, and I think right now it's just getting it to as much people as we can, and letting people know that they are not alone in their current quarantine and how we must embrace it. Or not. Or so.
I'm not gonna be able to move tomorrow, dude. I know this. I was like falling down the stairs, be like, oh yeah, there we go.
And I couldn't move the next day. I couldn't move the next day at all.
We wanted you to go on the roof. To go on the roof.
Yeah, I straight up danced for 8 hours, dude. It was crazy. And it's like, I think, you know what? I find that I really did like dancing, kind of. I was like, not like I want to dance for 8 hours every day, but it was just fun to do something that was kind of different and not have a guitar in me,
Right. Well, something else too that kind of factors into the tiredness is, and I forgot to bring up before, is we shot the video 10% with the song 10% faster.
Yeah.
So the video, when we shot it, it was much faster. So you're kind of really hitting hard there a lot quicker than you would have been if it was slowed down. So it was, it was max effort the whole day.
Well, you like if people hear it's like, not a day goes by that I don't daydream with the world outside, everyone and I had to practice doing it that fast. So when I finally heard the real version again, after doing that all day, I was like, this is way too slow. I got to re-record this. This sucks.
This is a remix.
I got to remix.
We did the slow jam, the elevator version, the slower one.
Yeah, I remember calling you on that scene where I was like, man, how do I not look like exhausted by the end of this? Is because I just went hard on the first scene. And I was like, oh yeah, we got
every time.
We got a lot to do.
Yeah, that's the thing where it was like, if I was there, I'd be like, hey man, just let you know, we have like 8 more to do. But you, it's not like, so we had 2 different light setups. So you had to do it a couple times regular and a couple times with the lights on. And I know we picked certain points where we're like, okay, we don't have to do lights for this part. But you being you gave me like 3 or 4 takes of each one. So every setup came with like 8 or 9, 6, something like that. It wasn't anything like where there was a couple of them there. I had 40 plus takes synced on top of each other when I was done. You could see in that last video.
That sounds like hell. That sounds like my editing hell.
It was great. Well, you come up being everybody else's assistant, so you learn how to get through the hell hell easily. But this stuff is different because it's hysterical. You watch it. I have a stand-up desk in Quaransheen, as you saw, that was my crazy way of staying sane with the sheets that were up. Because at first I started off with the glare. I was like, I can't really see.
Yeah.
I kind of like how I can't see anything else, and so I just kept going, put up the Joe Exotic side, and that was it. I've been having fun in my edit fort.
I like that Joe Exotic. So someone tweeted the other day, they're like, "Hey, does anyone remember the Tiger King? Because that feels like 6 years ago." I was like, "Hey, you guys remember that?" Anyways, it's like it's
everybody was like trying to hang on to something, and then like you look back and you're like, "Why did I like this guy?" So like, what was I thinking? Like, why did I?
I feel bad for those dudes. If only I don't feel bad for them, but only it's like we only if you believe that we only get 15 minutes of fame, right? Like those whole Tiger King dudes, like. If it was something where they were able to go to bars or, quarantine wasn't happening or they could go out and walk in like the Mall of America and be the heroes of everybody for like a week and a half, I think they deserve that. I don't know. I think they deserve being exploited like that. I think they could have been golden gods for a week, but that time is gone. It's like when you can finally go back in again, it's like, I'm the Tiger King people. And they're like, oh yeah, we know, but yeah, it's fine.
Like,
I don't feel bad.
I'll put you on some VH1 talk show in a couple of years.
Timing. Oh God. Hey. So yeah, So I want to talk a little bit about those lights because that made it a lot easier. Lighting is a whole other thing as opposed. I mean, on top of staging, as we know, and you know much more than I do. But if people are looking to have some lighting that can do at least that, it's this company called Ape Labs. And for all the lights. Of all the lights I've explored for my DJ business or Kirby Krackle shows, like the flexibility of those is awesome. And I mean, obviously it's not like movie professional grade lighting, but for what we did, it did the job and just created the party and sound reactive. Like we had it cranked so they would really, move with the music. And so they're fun. I mean, if anyone's ever looking for something like that, I highly recommend those. They're pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty, don't take it down too far. It's pretty on par with what's going on in the actual film industry itself as well, where you're seeing these huge, massive lights being, shrunken down to these little magnetic LEDs. And
yeah.
And it's like very, very similar approach to pretty big time stuff. And so you can fit lights in places that it was impossible to before. And so even at the highest level, those lights are being taken advantage of, and it's making things so much easier. Even like power, it doesn't take that much to power them. They don't heat up that much. It's just, it's like you were saying, especially for the situation we were in with our video, they're huge.
Yeah, I agree. I hear what you're saying. And shout out again to Krista, your wife, for watching AJ. And
yes.
And Kristen for watching Katinka, because obviously it's a full-time deal being a parent in this situation. I know that they were gracious in letting us chase this ridiculous stuff. You know what I mean?
Thank you to the wifeys. They are
thank you to wifeys. I tell
super supportive.
I'm very thankful to have a partner, and I think you're in the same position where it's like, hey, we're going to do this crazy thing. We're just going to dance around in bike helmets, and you're going to have to do a lot more work. But is that cool with you until we get it done? So yes.
Yeah, so it's like, so your father's dancing around with bike helmets and you're dancing around with bike helmets. And so it's like, it all blends.
But then I think that I carried Katinka in my body for 9 months. So it's like, I just like kind of deserve it. You know what I mean? Kind of like, I just feel that didn't go over too well when I said that.
Yeah, that was inside voice. That was inside.
Let's talk about what you have going on next, man. I want to talk about the thing that we did some work together with last year that people haven't seen yet because it's still in development, is your Inside Artist series.
Yes, Indie Artist.
Indie Artist.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yes, Indie Artists. It feels like I've been trying to get this out for 6 months now, and then COVID happened, and it kind of pushed it even further. But summertime.
Cool. I want to throw some photos up here if you want to let people know kind of what we were doing here.
Yeah. I'll kind of navigate it for you too when I see it.
I don't think you're going to see it on your end here. It's just on.
Oh, there's a little.
Delay. There's me doing devil horns in a comic shop.
Right. So yeah, I mean, Indie Artist is a series. Pretty much what it says right there. It's about independent artists and what they're doing, where they're at, how they got there, and the art form that makes up them. I mean, the success to be doing art in general. And so, yeah, I was able to interview 3 out of the 8 people for season 1. And so now we have to finish everything and get it going and streaming in the summer. But it's just, so far, it's really interesting how the first 3 episodes kind of need to be promoted in a way, or I had to change some of the tagging to make sure people understood it was pre-COVID.
Yeah, that tripped me out. Explain that. That was crazy when you were telling me that.
Yeah, you have to add to it, and it just made me think of like you're because one of the questions, if you remember, and like it's the 5 major bullet points of indie artists, and obviously you navigate for each artist differently, but the main thing that you ask everybody is like, where do you see yourself going? Where are things going? Where are you going with your music, or where are you going with your art form? And then like that was mind blowing in a sense of like, you know, just being in situations where there's crowds.
Yeah.
Just like the simplicity of that. So I had to identify everything as pre-COVID. And so it's going to be fun to go and finish this season, but it's just going to be very different now, shooting in a post-COVID, if there is such thing as a post-COVID. I don't know. We'll see. We're still in the middle of it, but whatever the post-quarantine stage is, when we can get back to shooting, I'll finish those up.
Yeah, that's I don't know. Every time you say that, I kind of get chills. I don't know why. I think it's just because it will be so different. Like if you're looking at like a big band situation for this new show or a concert situation, you're like, that doesn't look right. That's not right. That doesn't look good. Where is this happening?
Yeah. Yeah. It's I mean, just being like, you know, that goal is different. It's just changed now. And so, I mean, it'll come back. It's not, you know, there's no reason to be completely morbid here, but, but it's just very different. So yeah. And then your episode was part of the pre-COVID stages, but this summer be able to share that sooner than later. I got to finish editing it.
Well, I know it's going to be awesome because you do awesome stuff, man. And the stuff that you're able to do with the amount of time that you have to do it is crazy to me. I'd be like, okay, iMovie, what? Drag this to here. Okay. Save. Yeah, that's not my jam.
Does shit for you now, though, doesn't it? Doesn't it just like you just put the footage in and it's like, yeah.
I don't know. Does it? Is that
good? That's what I do.
If that exploded, that's how you did this. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I just sleep. That's what I do. I catch up on sleep. I think people think that I'm working 24 hours and I'm just sleeping. I do it in like 3. I get it done in 3, and then
yeah,
go to bed.
It's like the thing of me just putting Spotify on a permanent play and reaping those 15 cents every 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? You got to make time work for you. You're not working for time, Joe. Hey,
I gotta make music. I
want to play a game with you. You got time for a game?
Let's do it.
Okay. It's called Cookie Cage Match. We've done this 7 times now. People know how this goes. I'm going to ask you your favorite cookies. It's super high stress, and your answers really, really matter, okay? It's going to define you as a person to everyone watching, basically.
Forgot about this. Okay.
All right, here we go. Don't think. Just let your heart decide. All right. Chocolate chip or butterscotch?
Ooh, chocolate chip.
Oatmeal or snickerdoodle?
Oatmeal.
Oatmeal.
I just love oatmeal. I don't know. I love oatmeal.
Are you like a kind of dude who sets the evening oats in the fridge, and you get up and it's like, what's it called? Overnight oats?
No, I don't got like. Yeah, no, I'm just like throw it in the microwave for 2 minutes. Let's get this over with. Throw some peanut butter in there. I should be. I
got
really
too much
should
shit
be.
to edit. You don't have time for that.
I should be doing it.
No bake or meringue?
Ooh. No bake.
He said no baking for me. Peanut butter or ginger snap?
That's a tough one. That's not fair.
Yo, you got a peanut allergy?
Peanut? No, I don't.
Okay, that's harder.
That would suck. Yeah, no. Peanut butter. I mean,
harder to choose in that case.
Yeah.
Is that it? Just peanut butter?
Peanut butter. Oh yeah.
Okay, I thought you were just saying peanut butter and thinking dreamily about that. PB.
No, I'm more like I want to have some peanut butter cookies now.
Yeah, too bad. Okay, chocolate chip or oatmeal?
Oatmeal.
Oh, I've never had the double C all excluded like that in the second round. That's new.
You know what? It's like, meh.
It's Long Island. Hey, forget about it.
Hey.
No bake or peanut butter?
We'll make you eat it. We'll make them eat it. Don't worry.
My wife made that for you. You don't like it? Are you saying you don't like it? You're not even gonna try a bite?
My mother made that for you. You kidding me right now?
No bake, peanut butter.
No bake.
This is some old man style. I dig this. Okay. All right. We got to put on the fancy. We got to put on the fancy sound here. Here we go. Where is it? Where is it? All right. Oatmeal or no bake?
Oof. That's true senior citizen right there.
That's true.
I'm gonna go with oatmeal. Oatmeal's gonna win it.
Really? Oatmeal? All right.
Oatmeal's gonna win it.
That's
It's good for your digestion.
That's eating dinner at 4 o'clock and saying you had dinner late style. That's oatmeal. That's old man style.
Yeah, I'm just running with being able to eat cookies all day. There's no it's after dinner all the time as far as I'm concerned. So
You know, and if I picture us as old men, and hopefully we're still working together then, is that no of not working it or no if we're not old men? Just both?
I don't know. I like old.
I say this to my friends
dusty.
sometimes. I say this to my musician friends. I'm like, you know, so when we're writing songs, like when we're old, he's like, we're not going to do that. I'm like, it's not even open to suggestion? Not even open to like, you can't even just act nice? He's like, no, probably not going to want to do that.
I mean, it's just like older versions of us right now. I'm already bald, and you kind of look like you have a toupee on. So it's like
I do.
You know, it just droop it, just droop it down.
Hey.
There we go.
What I was going to say is you know how we consider old people dress now, right? It's like, this is going to be how old people dress. This is going to be old person clothes when we're 90. Because it's not like...
We walk around with Jordans and an NWO shirt at 90. This same exact NWO shirt that I've had for, I mean, like nerd, come on, Quaransheen, Kirby Krackle, nerd podcast. I had to break out. This is never appropriate. Finally. I actually have a funny story. I went into just with the times.
Yes.
I wore this out for the first time. Well, this was several months ago, obviously, or more than that, 3 months ago. It was recent, whatever recent public appearance you can be in. And this woman totally thought I was wearing like a New World Order shirt, as in like I'm promoting the New World Order is going to take over the world, like that kind of political. Yeah, they had no idea it was wrestling. I was like, I don't know if I should feel old or angry. Like, you know, like it was like one of those things. Nobody knows what the NWO is anymore. But on The Last Dance the other night, Dennis Rodman, I had to break it out. So
I got to watch that still. I heard a Pearl Jam song close it out, so I got to check that out. All my friends.
It was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good. Those are the best documentaries. The best documentaries are documentaries that act as time machines. You know, like time travel is possible through certain visual interpretation with documentaries, as far as I'm concerned, and that made me feel like that time. Like I felt my parents' basement plywood, you know, like shaggy carpet with encyclopedias next to the TV type of vibes while I watched it. So I think it was cool. I really enjoyed it. They did a really great job all around. Fan point of view, filmmaking point of view, it was done really well. I'm glad he did it. I'm glad he released it. Yeah,
Ruben, he goes, added so much new context to moments I loved or lived through. I think he says lived through on the back of a Metro. Hey, that's a different thing. Yeah, no, lived. He wrote lived. He corrected himself. So sorry. I think he meant loved through. Joe, I'm going to let you go. Oatmeal wins the day for the records.
Oatmeal.
You're a good man. I'm glad I know you. I'm glad we're friends. I love working with you. And
back with you as well.
I really hope that if anyone wants to do a social distance video with Joe, as long as it doesn't get in the way of my schedule selfishly with him, then I suggest you reach out to him anytime.
Yeah, hit me up. Let's talk about it. You know, it always starts with a fun song. So send it my way. That's right. Oh man, I'm gonna go call that just to see if it works.
I'm okay. You're okay.
Payphone.
Be good, man.
Thank you for having me. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye. That's the Joe Carella. He's a good boy. So glad he was on here, and thank you to all his efforts in putting together that BTS, which means behind the scenes, as you now know. It's really hard to do editing like that. I've tried. A lot of what I do, just because of circumstance and not having a manager and just the way I've set up my life, is a lot of stuff I just have to learn how to do. And that is one of the things I've put off. So I think the universe brought me together with him, and very thankful for his friendship and his time and his enthusiasm, because it made me really a lot more enthused about a song that I was already stoked about. All right, we are going to watch one more video here, then we're going to call it a day. We're going to talk about next week. Did this video with my daughter the other day. I wake up every day to a show called Zumafu. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Basically, it's with the Kratt brothers before they did Wild Kratts in the 90s. And she found it on Amazon Prime. We were flipping through one day, and it's all about a lemur who meets all these different animals. It's really educational. And every day I wake up to stuff like, did you know a parrot could say words? And so one day we were talking about golden eagles, and we did this video. Golden eagle, not like in the TV show Vikings, where if someone was dishonored and they were going to be a part of a ritual killing, when they went to Valhalla, they would get in Valhalla and get their armor back if they made no sound while the enemy tribe hacked through their back, pulled their lungs out, and laid it on their back. That's called a golden eagle. That's not what we're talking about, but it's a different kind. Here you go.
What were you saying about golden eagles?
Golden eagles can fast as a race car and nice. And if you bother a golden eagle, it might get threatened.
But you've never ridden a golden eagle.
No. Huh, that's odd. 2 napkins.
So they're a wild animal. But we can get them as pets.
We don't want to.
How come?
Because they're wild animals. And you know what? Do you know what golden eagles sometimes eat?
What?
Pigeons.
No way.
They do.
Oh.
They eat pigeons.
Poor pigeons.
They don't eat so much of them. If they have a big, if they're all hungry, a pigeon can, do you know what? It doesn't take that long. When a golden eagle pounces, when it's holding onto a pigeon really tight, the pigeon dies, and then just hurt that pigeon.
Sometimes they take little dogs too.
Why?
Because there's little animals.
And Dad, you know what? A hawk would never take a big dog.
Never a big dog.
Do you know why? Because dogs are too big for a golden eagle to carry.
What about a little dog though?
Okay, that
I mean,
can carry that.
or a horse.
A horse is pretty big. The grown-up horses. Too big for a hawk to
I
carry.
guess you're right.
And a golden eagle, did you know about a golden eagle? Do you know why? Do you know why that is? Because a golden eagle weighs 1410 pounds. Okay, that's the stuff I hear every day. And I'm trying to record all of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll learn about some animals. We might have the animal corner here. Back to British Mop. Oh my God, look at that. What a nightmare. Hey, let's talk about next week's guest. I'm really excited about this. Next week, we have a new friend on the Quarantinecast, Jessica Gallo, or Gallo. I hope her name is pronounced Gallo. I've never actually met her in real life. We're Instagram buddies, and she is a musician and a therapeutic harpist that plays with my my producer Don Gunn. So I heard about her through Don, and she's awesome, and she's got the kid life going on during this too. So we're going to talk that. We're going to talk doing therapeutic music for people, which I think that's what all music is, but she is taking it in a very laser focused way. So I'm excited to talk to her about that, and that's going to be next week on the 27th. All right, my friends. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining Joe and I to talk about this. I'm going to make some music. I'm out of the side salad. I don't know what's going to happen here. But I hope you guys take care. I hope you guys are staying healthy and doing what works for you and your family, because that's all we can do. No one knows what the hell is going on. Before we go, I want to hear this.
You're weird, but I love you.
I love you too. All right. Celestine Prophecy. Read it. It's awesome. Bye.